I kept the porch light burning through the rain. I memorized the rhythm of the evening train, thinking every whistle was a signal from you, that the maybe in my head was finally true. I sat at the window till the glass went cold, keeping every promise that we ever told. I was a lighthouse on a rocky shore, guarding a ghost that doesn't live here anymore. I didn't move the pictures, I didn't change the sheets. I listened for your tires on the gravel streets. I was a statue in a garden of soon, howling at a hollow white-faced moon. And oh, it's a heavy weight to be a heart that waited just a bit too late. I was a captain on a sinking deck, hanging your memory round my neck. I gave my winters and my springs away, waiting for a someday that turned into never today. Now the rest is deep and the pulse is faded in the hollow chest of a heart that waited. I saw the dust settle on your favorite chair like a thin gray veil of you're not there. I unfolded your absence to all of our friends until I ran out of ways to make the ends bend. I'm a clock with a battery that's finally dead, repeating the words that you never quite said. I spent my life in a holding pattern sky, watching all the other birds fly on by. They say patience is a virtue, a beautiful thing, but it's just a cage where the bird won't sing. It's a slow motion poison, a beautiful lie to keep a candle lit when the wick is dry. And oh, it's a heavy weight to be a heart that waited just a bit too late. I was a captain on a sinking deck, hanging your memory round my neck. I gave my winters and my springs away, waiting for a someday that turned into never today. Now the rest is deep and the pulse is faded in the hollow chest of a heart that waited. I'm turning out the light, I'm stepping into the night. No more watching, no more staying, no more silent, only praying, just the echo of a heart that waited. I try to scrub the ink from the wooden floor. I try to lock the ghost behind the cellar door. I bought a different brand, I changed the morning view. trying to erase the me that's made of you. I've walked 1,000 miles in a different pair of shoes, looking for a version of the news I didn't lose. But your name is written in the static of the rain, and I can't find the border where I end and you remain. It's not a knot that I can just untie, it's the very color of the midday sky. I'm a letter that's been sent, a stone that's been thrown, a kingdom built on a foundation I've outgrown. And it's a love I can't undo, a fire I can't unburn, a lesson that I've learned, but I can't unlearn. I've tried to pull the threads, I've tried to break the seal, but I can't change the way that the forever used to feel. You're a permanent stain, you're a scar in the grain, a beautiful disaster in the middle of my brain. I'm a different person now, but the ghost is still true. In the heart of a love I can't undo. I saw you in a dream, and you hadn't changed a bit. The same slow motion smile, the way the shadows hit. I woke up in the dark, and I reached for the space, only to remember the absence of your face. I'm a map that's been folded too many times, tangled in the rhythm of our old broken rhymes. I can burn the photos, I can throw away the ring, but I can't stop the gravity of the finished thing. If I could go back to the night we first met, I'd tell my younger self to run, and yet I'd probably stand there and let the light in and do the whole terrible always again. Yeah, it's a love I can't undo, a fire I can't unburn, a lesson that I've learned, but I can't unlearn. I've tried to pull the threads, I've tried to break the seal, but I can't change the way that the forever used to feel. You're a permanent stain, you're a scar in the grain, a beautiful disaster in the middle of my brain. I'm a different person now, but the ghost is still true. In the heart of a love I can't undo. It's done, it's through, but I'm still stained by the spirit of you. No reset, no restart, just the permanent ink on a fractured heart, a love I can't undo. I didn't wake up to a sudden storm, or find the coffee suddenly cold. It was a gradual loss of the light, a story that grew quiet before it was told. We were a forest in the peak of July, deep-rooted and green, reaching for sky. But the seasons shifted while we were asleep, and the promises got harder to keep. It wasn't a break or a jagged edge line, just a slow motion crossing of a boundary sign. A little less laughter, a little more space, till I couldn't find the us in your face. And oh, it was a love that faded slow, the kind of ending that you don't even know. No fire, no smoke, no dramatic goodbye, just a steady thinning of the light in the sky. I'm a map with no wing, a bell with no ring, mourning the ghost of a beautiful thing. We didn't crash, we just let go in the long distance quiet of a love that faded slow. I saw the dust settle on your side of the bed, like a thin gray veil of the things left unsaid. We were polite with the keys and the mail, while the wind in our spirit was starting to fail. I'm a radio tower with a flickering beam, chasing the shadow of a neon lit dream. You're still in the kitchen, you're still in the hall, but you don't seem to hear me at all. If you'd only shouted, if you'd only cried, I'd have a reason to stay by your side. But this nothing is heavy, this nothing is wide, with nowhere for a leftover lover to hide. Yeah. It was a love that faded slow, the kind of ending that you don't even know. No fire, no smoke, no dramatic goodbye, just a steady thinning of the light in the sky. I'm a map with no wing, a bell with no ring, mourning the ghost of a beautiful thing. We didn't crash, we just let go in the long distance quiet of a love that faded slow. Just a blur in the rays of the sun, hitting the empty space. No more always, no more we, just the never forever of you and me. Love that faded slow. We had the blueprints spread out on the floor, Architects of always closing every door to the rest of the world. We were gravity proof, building a kingdom under one steady roof. We planted the garden, we chose every stone, never thinking we'd end up here, standing alone. But the soil was too shallow, the rain never came, and now I'm just whispering a ghost of a name. It wasn't a villain, it wasn't a lie, it was a slow motion fading of the light in the sky. We did our best, but our best wasn't enough to smooth out the edges of a road that was rough. To the hollowed out height of a love that failed. I'm packing the glasses we bought in July, watching the forever just wither and die. We're polite in the hallway, we're kind with the keys, but we're both just beggars on our metaphorical knees. I'm looking for reasons, I'm searching for why, but the answers are written in a lead-colored sky. We were a masterpiece, but nobody finished. A mountain of hope that's been slowly diminished. Sometimes two people are perfectly right, but they still lose the battle with the middle of the night. It's a tragedy written in a very soft hand, a castle of salt on a beach made of sand. Oh, it's a heavy cross, it's a bitter pill to be standing in a house of a love that failed. Just a word, just a word, a blur in the mirror, a ghost of a hurt. The plans are all gone, the dawn is still gray in the love that failed us today. The room is full of voices and light, a steady hum in the middle of the night. Smiling at stories and playing the part, while a quiet cold starts to settle in the heart. The surface is steady, the surface is clear, hiding the weight of a private fear. Like a slow motion shadow that starts to grow, a silent current moving down below. A glass that is holding too much weight, a quiet struggle with a heavy fate. It's not a crash or a sudden sound, it's the silence where the truth is found. Searching for words in the overhead light, fading away in the middle of the night. No sirens are calling, no help is near, just the steady rhythm of a hidden tear. Losing the spark and losing the heat, walking along on a busy street, a ghost in the middle of a crowded town, searching for peace while the sun goes down. The art of the calm and the steady stare, breathing in nothing but empty. Under the surface and under the skin, the walls of the fortress are wearing thin. Every how are you feels like a wall, waiting for someone to catch the fall. A beautiful image in a tailored suit, while the ache inside remains so mute. If a cry was released, would the windows all break? Would the foundation start to shiver and shake? But the thoughts stay tucked in the back of the throat, a lone passenger on a drifting boat. Searching for words in the overhead light, fading away in the middle of the night. No sirens are calling, no help is near, just the steady rhythm of a hidden tear. Losing the spark and losing the heat, walking along An invisible rain falling through the memories and the pain. No one knows where the river goes, searching for peace in the sound. I've learned the layout of a pitch black room, finding the edges of this quiet tomb. The mirrors are cracked and the paint's peeling thin, but somehow the oxygen still finds a way in. I'm a house that's been hollowed by a summer storm, trying to remember how it felt to be warm. The windows are boarded, the garden is dead, but I'm still hearing the blood in my head. It's not a masterpiece, it's not a grand design, it's just the slow motion crossing of a jagged line. I'm a bird with a wing that's been clipped by the frost, finding a rhythm in everything I've lost. And I'm broken but breathing, I'm down on the floor, but I'm not the person I was right before. There's a hole in my spirit, a gap in the light, but I'm making my way through the middle of night. The always is over, the forever is gone, but the clock doesn't care, it just keeps moving on. It's a heavy-eyed view and a shivering soul, but I'm broken but breathing and half of a whole. I saw your shadow in the grocery aisle, and for a second I forgot how to smile. The air went to iron, my knees went to clay, but I didn't collapse, I didn't just stay. I'm a map that's been torn and taped back together, a little bit tougher for the change in the weather. I'm a radio tower with a flickering spark, still sending out signals in the middle of dark. If the heart is a muscle, then it's learning to ache without letting the rest of the machinery break. I'm a beautiful ruin, a polished up mess, learning to live with a little bit less. Yeah, I'm broken but breathing, I'm down on the floor, but I'm not the person I was right before. There's a hole in my spirit, a gap in the light, but I'm making my way through the middle of night. just a steady vibration of a heart that's still here. Not fixed, not fine, just surviving the line, broken but breathing. I'm watching the glass hit the kitchen floor in a frame by frame dance toward the door. I can see every jagged silver line before the crash, while everything's fine. Your hand is letting go of mine in a long drawn out cool design. I see the distance begin to grow, but I'm moving too heavy, moving too slow. The air is like water, thick and deep, and I'm losing the promises I meant to keep. I can see the wreck before the impact hits, watching my world fall apart in bits. And I'm breaking in slow motion tonight, losing the world, losing the light. I can see the crack as it travels the bone. The minute I realize I'm standing alone, it's a long way down when the fall is this clear. Every heartbeat feels like 1,000 years. No sudden snap, just a steady erosion, breaking in slow motion. I'm watching your smile start to fade at the edge, like a dying leaf on a winter hat. I can hear the goodbye before it's even spoken, tracing the ribs that are already broken. We're drifting apart like ships in a fog, a slow motion slide into the water and log. I wanna reach out, I wanna scream, wait, but I'm paralyzed here at the garden gate. If it happened fast, maybe I wouldn't feel the grinding of every rusted wheel. But I'm forced to watch as the colors turn gray, feeling you slip an inch every day. I'm breaking in slow motion tonight, losing the world, losing the light. I can see the crack as it travels the bone. The minute I realize I'm standing alone, it's a long way down when the fall is this clear. Every heartbeat feels like 1,000 years. No sudden snap, just a steady erosion, breaking in slow motion. Falling, steady. We bought the paint for the kitchen wall while the plaster was starting to flake and fall. We talked about summers 5 years away, ignoring the frost that was turning us gray. The check engine light was a steady red glow, but we turned up the music and kept the pace slow. We were architects building a house on a fault, preserving a memory in a handful of salt. It wasn't a secret, it wasn't a lie, it was a terminal bruise in the middle of sky. But we looked at the garden and called it a bloom, while the shadows were claiming the rest of the room. And oh, it was the end we ignored, the quietest static on a hollowed out board. We danced in the kitchen while the windows went wide, refusing to see the arrival of a night. We were a masterpiece with a hairline crack, walking a road with no turning back. Now the silence is heavy and the spirit is floored by the weight. By the end, we ignored. I saw the distance in the way that you'd blink, but I pushed us both further away from the brink. We were polite with the keys and the how was your day, as the color of us slowly drifted away. I'm a radio tower with a flickering beam, drowning in the middle of the neon-lit dream. We held on to always like a physical thing, while the bird in the branches had forgotten to sing. If we'd only looked up, if we'd only been brave, we wouldn't be standing on top of this grave. But we chose the maybe, we chose the not yet, and turned every forever into a dead. Gone in the long steady break of the dawn. The end we ignored. I went to reach for the lamp on your side, but I caught the frost where the light used to hide. The sheets are a desert of iron, left out to freeze in the middle of night. And I poured 2 cups, but I'm drinking for one, staring at shadows and chasing the sun. But the sun doesn't reach where the floorboards are bare, it just highlights the fact that you're no longer there. There's a draft in the hallway that won't go away, no matter how many heaters I play. It's a climate of never and a spark or some wood, but it's just cold where you stood. Your favorite sweater is still on the hook, like a hollowed out page in a secondary book. I put it on just to feel like you're near, but the wool is as frozen as every fear. The winter is inside, it's under my skin. The ice is beginning to let itself in. I'm a statue of salt in a garden of glass, waiting for one more summer to pass. They say that the heart is a furnace of flame, but mine only shivers at the sound of your name. The pilot lights out and the windows are thin, and I don't know how to let the warmth back in. And it's cold where you stood, it's a permanent chill, the kind that a fireplace never could fill. I'm wrapped in a blanket of how did we fail, while the air in the kitchen turns bitter and stale. I trace the outline of where you once laid, watching the ghost of a memory fade. I'd give up the world for a spark or some wood, but it's just cold where you stood. Freezing, leaving, the silence is the only thing I'm breathing. Just a hollow space, just a winter place in the cold where you stood. The coffee's cold, the chair is bare. I'm still talking to the empty air. I trace the dust on your side of the bed, repeating every word you never said. The clock is ticking, but the time is stuck, like a record skip, like a run of luck that ran right out when you closed the door. Now I don't know what this house is for. I try to breathe, but the air feels thin. I'm waiting for the day to let me in, but the quiet is a weight I cannot move, searching for a ghost with nothing left to prove. And I'm listening to the cracks in the silence, the sound of a heart as it's breaking into. Saw your coat in the hallway light, and for a second everything was right. Then the truth hit hard like a winter rain. Just a hollow ache, just a familiar pain. I'm picking up the pieces of a life we made, watching how the colors of the photos fade. You're a song I can't hum, a book I can't close. How the story ends, everybody knows. It's not the screaming or the slamming doors, it's the nothing that's left on these hardwood floors. It's the good morning that I'll never say, it's the forever that just walked away. So I'm The cracks are getting wider now. I'd fix them if I just knew how. But it's quiet, so quiet. Just the sound of me letting you go. The tide came in while we were fast asleep. Promises made that were too deep to keep. I thought the water was a shimmering floor, but I can't see the light of the coast anymore. We're tangled in anchors and silver-lined chains, caught in the flood of our pulses and pains. I'm reaching for surface, I'm reaching for air, but there's nothing but us and the ghost of a prayer. It's not a storm from the outside looking in, it's the weight of the places where we both begin. A beautiful ocean, a terminal blue, and I'm losing my breath in the middle of you. And I'm drowning in us, I'm sinking so fast. Enough forever that wasn't built out to last. The salt's in my lungs and the pressure is high. Under the weight of a lead-colored sky, I wanna swim above, I wanna be free, but you're the current that's pulling at me. It's a liquid disaster, a beautiful fuss. God, I'm just drowning in us. Your hand is a weight that I can't seem to lift, as we watch all our maybes start to drift. We built a cathedral at the bottom of the bay and watched as the sunlight faded away. And now the oxygen's thin and the shadows are wide, with nowhere for a desperate spirit to hide. I'm a shipwreck of always, a reef made of if, falling away from the edge of the cliff. If love is a river, then we are the falls, screaming for mercy through these watery walls. But the deeper we go, the quieter it gets in the heavy dark garden of all our regrets. Yeah, I'm drowning in us, I'm sinking so fast. Enough forever that wasn't built out to last. The salt's in my lungs and the pressure is high. Under the weight of a lead-colored sky, I wanna swim up, I wanna be free, of the never again that we finally found. Just a bubble, just a spark, vanishing away in the deep, quiet, dark, drowning in us. The embers are shivering, losing their glow in a room full of shadows I used to know. I'm reaching for matches in a hollow drawer, but I can't find the spark we had before. Your name is a candle I can't keep lit. I'm watching the edges of us unknit. The warmth is retreating, the walls are cold, and I'm losing the spirit I used to hold. It's not a sudden crash or a lightning strike, it's a slow motion fading of what we like. A quiet surrender, a pale retreat, until there's nothing left but the bitter sheet. Watching the dying light within, the places where your touch used to begin. It's flickering out, it's slipping away, like the very last breath of a tired day. I try to shield it, I try to fight, but you can't force a fire in the dead of night. Now it's just smoke where the love should have been. Watching the dying light within. The windows are frosted, the garden is gray. We're just two strangers with nothing to say. We're ghosts in the kitchen, we're dust on the shelf. I'm looking for you, but I can't find myself. You look right through me like I'm made of glass, counting the seconds as the winters pass. The pulse is so faint, it's a rhythmic ghost. The thing that I'm losing is what I need most. Don't tell me it's fine, don't tell me we're okay, when the color is bleeding into the gray. The wick has burned down to the very end, and I'm mourning the lover I can't call a friend. I'm watching the dying light within, the places where your touch used to begin. It's flickering out, it's slipping away, like the very last breath of a tired day. I try to shield it, I try to fight, but you can't force a fire in the dead of night. Now it's just smoke where the love should have been. Watching the dying light within. It's going dark, the last little spark, just a whisper of heat on a frozen skin. Goodbye to the light. light within. The embers are shivering, losing their glow in a room full of shadows I used to know. I'm reaching for matches in a hollow drawer, but I can't find the spark we had before. Your name is a candle I can't keep lit. I'm watching the edges of us unlit. The warmth is retreating, the walls are cold, and I'm losing the spirit I used to hold. It's not a sudden crash or a lightning strike. It's a slow motion fading of what we're like. A quiet surrender, a power retreat, until there's nothing left but the bitter sheet. I'm watching the dying light within. The places where your touch used to begin is flickering out, it's slipping away like the very last breath of a tired day. I try to shield it, I try to fight, but you can't force a fire in the dead of night. Now it's just smoke where the love should have been. Watching the dying light within. It's going dark. The last little spark, just a whisper of heat on a frozen skin. Goodbye to the light. The dying light within. I left the radio on to drown out the wall, but the silence is louder than any phone call. I still hear your keys hit the tray by the door, and your footsteps across the old hardwood floor. But the hallway is empty, the hooks are all bare. I'm just catching my breath in the cold hollow air. Every room has a memory I can't quite erase, like a map of a world that's been stripped of its grace. It's the ghost of a laugh in the steam of the shower, the tick of the clock at the 3 a.m. hour. I'm chasing a sound that I know isn't there, but I find it in closets and under the stair. And I'm living in the echoes of goodbye, the thunder that rolls in a cloudless sky. It's the I love you bouncing off every wall, the shadow of us when we had it all. I'm a bird in a canyon, I'm screaming your name, but the answer that returns is never the same. Just a hollow vibration, a low, lonely cry, and the echoes of goodbye. I'm sleeping on the sofa, so I don't see the space in the bed where the sheets still remember your face. The kettle is whistling a tune that you knew. Everything I touch is a version of you. I try to speak over the noise in my head, but I'm tripping on promises we never fed. You're a record that's finished, but the needle is stuck, and I'm out of time, and I'm out of luck. They say that the sound eventually dies, that the ringing will stop and the sun will rise. But the quieter it gets, the more I can hear the never again ringing loud in my ear. Yeah, I'm living in the echoes of goodbye, the thunder that rolls in a cloudless sky. It's the I love you bouncing off every wall, the shadow of us when we had it all. I'm a bird in a canyon, I'm screaming your name, but the answer that returns is never the same. Just a hollow vibration, a low, lonely cry in the echoes of It's fading away, but I'll hear it tonight. Just an echo, just a ghost of the one I love most. I'm staring at the cupboards wide and deep, at the promises we didn't get to keep. The echoes are the only things that grow in the rooms where we used to move so slow. I poured a glass of water, set it down, like a lonely king without a crown. There's a resonance in every hollow space, a marking lack of your familiar face. I'm a vessel with a hole in the side, with no more secrets and nowhere to hide. I've got the structure, I've got the frame, but I'm missing the part that carries your name. And I'm so empty after you, like a sky that's forgotten how to be blue. I'm a page with no ink, I'm a bell with no sound, a ghost of a man who's no longer bound. I reach for the spirit, I reach for the spark, but I'm just a hollow soul in the dark. Everything's gone that I once thought was true, and I'm just empty after you. The closet is a cavern, dark and white, where the ghosts of your dresses used to hide. I got too much room to breathe in here, and the air is thin and the light is sheer. I try to fill the hours with the noise of the television and the broken toys, but the silence leaks back in the cracks, and I'm counting the things that aren't coming back. They say that less is more, but they lied. When there's nothing but a canyon inside, I'm a house with no furniture, heart with no beat, just a long, lonely stretch of a dead-end street. Yeah, I'm so empty after you, like a sky that's forgotten how to be blue. I'm a page with no ink, I'm a bell with no sound, a ghost of a man who's no longer bound. I reach for the spirit, I reach for the spirit, but I'm just a hollow shell in the dark. Everything's gone that I once thought was true, and I'm just empty after you. Just a hollow, just a shadow in a field that's gone to fall. Nothing left to give, nothing left to do. In the empty after you. You're moving your lips, but the air is just hollow. There's no more forever for me to follow. The I'm sorries are falling like dust on the floor. I've heard this exact conversation before. You're using the phrases that used to be gold, but the fire is out and the story is old. I'm looking for substance, I'm searching for weight, but you're just a ghost at a locked up gate. It's a beautiful script with the lid colored ink, watching our history vanish and sink. You're filling the silence with a delicate sound, while I'm losing my footing on this shaky ground. And it's empty after you, it's a hollowed out song, repeating the rights that have already gone wrong. Empty words again, just a vapor haze in the flickering light of our better days. I'm a vessel of glass that you've already drained, while you're speaking a love that is already stained. There's no heartbeat in what you just said, just empty words in a cold, quiet bed. You promised us someday, and never again. while I'm tracing the places where they never began. It's a masterpiece painted with nothing but air, a cathedral of maybe and a ghost of a prayer. I see through the logic, I see through the charm. It doesn't provide any shelter or warmth. You're a radio station with nothing but white, broadcasting your secrets in the middle of night. If you meant it, you'd scream it, or you'd just let me be. Instead of this quietly destroying me, but you're caught in the rhythm of a habit you kept, while the version of us has already stepped. Yeah, it's empty, and to you it's a hollowed out song, repeating the rights that are already gone wrong. Empty words again, just a vapor, a haze in the flickering light of our better days. I'm a vessel of glass that you've already drained, while you're speaking of love that is already stained. There's no heartbeat in what you just said, just empty words in a cold, quiet bed. Just a sound, with no ground, lost in the nothing that we finally found. No more ways, no more there, just the empty words again. I'm reaching out to grab a sleeve, but there's nothing left for me to believe. I can see the door, I can see the hall, but I can't see the girl who had it all. We were a fire, a roar in the night, blinding and heavy and perfectly bright. But the wood's all gone and the wind is high, and I'm watching the color bleed out of the sky. It's not a break, it's a thinning out, a slow motion ghost of a shadow of doubt. I'm trying to hold what I can't even feel, like the ghost of a ghost voices of radio, losing the grip. I'm leaning in close just to hear part of it, but the static is rising, the signal is weak, and I'm losing the words that you're trying to speak. The photos are blurring, the edges are white, like a memory left in the midday light. I'm grasping at patterns, I'm chasing the sand, but I can't find the place where the forever went. You're a cloud in the mirror, a smudge on the glass, watching the best of our history pass. I'd catch you in jars if I thought you would stay, but you're caught in a breeze that is blowing away. Yeah, you're fading like smoke in a winter room, a beautiful drift toward a quiet doom. I can see right through where your heart should be, and there's less of you and there's less of me. I'm breathing you in, but my lungs stay thin, watching the end before they begin. Just a gray little ghost of a joke we stole, fading like smoke. Up through the rafters, out through the flue, there goes the last little piece of you. Just a whisper, just a haze in the fading like smoke of our better days. I passed you at the corner of our street today. I was ready for the hello I always say. I braced for the impact, the catch in my throat, the familiar scent of your winter coat. But your eyes drifted over like I was a pane of glass, just a blur in the crowd, just a shadow to pass. There was no recognition, no spark in the gray. You just looked through the man you once begged to stay. It's a different kind of die in a quiet race, to be standing right here and not leave a trace. I'm a ghost in your story, a line you deleted, a war that you won and a heart you defeated. And I'm standing in the cold, being forgotten by you, while I'm still bleeding the red and the blue. I'm a name on a page that you've already turned, a bridge that you crossed while the memory burned. I'm screaming your name in the hollow of night, but I'm in being forgotten by you. I went to our cafe and sat in our chair, but you've taken the ghost of yourself from the air. I saw you laughing with someone I don't know, and it hit me how fast you decided to go. You've washed off the us like a stain on your hand, while I'm still a shipwreck on your lonely sand. How do you do it? How do you just blink and let every forever just vanish and sink? If you hated me, maybe I'd still have a place. At least there'd be fire in the look on your face. But this nothing is heavy, this nothing is wide, with nowhere for a leftover lover to hide. Yeah, I'm standing in the cold, being forgotten by you, while I'm still bleeding the red and the blue. I'm a name on a page that you've already turned, a bridge that you crossed while the memory burned. I'm screaming your name in the hollow of night, but invisible now in your morning light. It's the loneliest thing that a human can do, to be standing right here, being forgotten by you. Just a face in the space that you managed to completely replace. I'm still here, but I'm gone in the cold, quiet break of your dawn. Forgotten by you. I checked the thermostat, it's 72, but there's a vacuum in the room where I once had you. I'm looking at your picture on the mantelpiece, and I'm waiting for the flood, for the big release. But the water's bone dry and the sky's clear. I'm searching for the ghost of a single tear. I'm touching your sweater, I'm smelling the lace, but I can't find a flicker of your holy face. It's like the circuit breaker finally snapped, and all the electricity bell with no ring. I'm a hollowed out version of a living thing. And you're gone without feeling. You're gone without pain. Like a summer drought after a lifetime of rain. I thought I'd be screaming. I thought I'd be torn. But I'm just a field where the weed wasn't born. There's no heavy anchor. There's no jagged knife. Just the quiet subtraction of a beautiful life. I'm staring at the ceiling while the shadows are stealing the part of me that's gone without feeling. I walked past our cafe. I sat in our booth, and I waited for the impact of the bitter truth. But the coffee tasted fine, and the sun felt okay. Like you hadn't just walked 1,000 miles away. Am I a monster, or am I just spent? Did I use up my heart on the way that you went? I'm a map with no borders, a clock with no hands, a stranger in a country that nobody plans. Maybe the always was a heavy load, and I finally dropped it on the side of the road. Now I'm light as a feather, I'm thin as the air, with a heart that's too tired to even be there. Yeah, you're gone without feeling. You're gone without pain. Like a summer drought after a lifetime of rain. I thought I'd be screaming. I thought I'd be torn. But I'm just a field where the weed wasn't born. There's no heavy anchor. There's no jagged knife. Just the quiet subtraction of a beautiful life. I'm staring at the ceiling while the shadows are stealing the part of me that's gone without feeling. No more I miss you. No more I can't. No more prayers that I'll never grant. Just a blank page, a silent stage, watching the ending of an era. I've burned the letters and I've changed the view. I've scrubbed the hallway of the sun to you. I told my friends that I was finally free, that the ghost of us had stopped following me. But then the light hits the floor at a certain angle, and my heart gets caught in the same old tangle. I'm a runner who stopped, but the race is still on, picking up the pieces of a life that's gone. They say time is a river that washes the shore, but the tide only brings you back home to my door. I'm a man with one destination in mind, no matter how many new roads I find. And I can't forget you, no matter the cost. I'm still counting the seconds of the love that we lost. You're a permanent stain, you're a scar in the grave, a beautiful record that plays in my brain. I've tried to be new, and I've tried to be strong, but I'm still singing the same broken song. I can lock every door, I can hide every clue, but God, I can't forget you. I saw a stranger with your same slow stride, and for a second I had nowhere to hide. The air went thin and the world went gray, like you hadn't just walked 1,000 miles away. I'm a book with the last page glued to the front, still on the same old desperate hunt. I've built a cathedral on a shadow of doubt, trying to find a way to let the always out. Is it a month? Is it a year before the sound of your name doesn't bring me to fear? I'm a clock that's been smashed, but the gears are still turning, still waiting, still wanting, still quietly burning. Yeah, I can't forget you, no matter the cost. I'm still counting the seconds of the love that we lost. You're a permanent stain, you're a scar in the grave, a beautiful record that plays in my brain. I've tried to be new, and I've tried to be strong, but I'm still singing the same broken song. I can lock every door, I can hide every clue, but God, I can't forget you. Still here, still here, in the year before the goodbye and the never. Just a loop, just a hoop, I'm jumping through forever. I can't forget you. I didn't just dip my toes in the tide, I threw my whole life to the ocean inside. I saw a reflection of a permanent shore, and stopped looking back at the world anymore. I gave you the keys to the dark and the light. I trusted your hand in the dead of the night, building a home on the floor of the sea, never thinking the water would swallow up me. They say keep your balance and watch where you tread, but I like the way that they always felt spread. I was a stone that was eager to sink into the forever and into the blink. And oh, I'm a wreck on the bottom of us, a beautiful ruin of absolute trust. I fell too deep, I went down too far, chasing the light of an underwater star. Now the pressure is heavy, the oxygen's gone, and I'm losing the rhythm of a morning breakdown. I'm a heartbeat that's muffled, a spirit in sleep, because God, I just fell too deep. I'm picking at anchors that are buried in silt, tracing the blueprints of the maybe we built. We were a masterpiece, painted in blue, but I was the only one drenched in the hue. I'm a diver who's lost every signal in line, staring at a someday that's no longer mine. I see a silhouette on the surface above, while I'm drowning in the ghost of a one-sided love. If I'd stayed in the shallow, if I'd stayed on the sand, I still have the strength to be able to stand. But the gravity's different when you're under the weight of the forever that arrived just a second too late. Yeah, I'm a wreck on the bottom of us, a beautiful ruin of absolute trust. I fell too deep, I went down too far, chasing the light of an underwater star. Now the pressure is heavy, the oxygen's gone, and I'm losing the rhythm of a morning breakdown. I'm a heartbeat that's muffled, a spirit in sleep, 'cause God, I just fell too deep. Down in the sounds of the never again that we finally found. Just a bubble, just a spark, vanishing away in the deep, quiet dark. I fell